Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. On today's episode, we will be looking at the epic film that is The Little Mermaid. We are your host, Eddie Ferguson.
And I'm JB Wagner.
Best friends since first grade.
First grade.
JB, how is the family doing?
Family's doing good. My daughter, who is barely 1 year old, a little bit more than 1 year old, she has shown me that the stereotype of Disney princesses might actually be more true than just a joke that we make when we talk about doing the Disney princess fall over when something bad happens and you just fall over, put your hands in front of your face and lay on the ground and cry. There might be something genetic to it because I swear we've never taught this to her, but my daughter does this whenever I say the word no. Sometimes when I spell it N-O, her eyes get really big and they well up and they tear up and then she just like loses it. But instead of, most kids are just like crying, she throws herself on the ground and then just starts like hands over eyes. Like, "Wah!" And I swear I'm like, that is the Disney princess. And maybe this thing is more genetic than we thought. I don't feel like we've taught her that. Maybe she's picked it up.
You'll know when her hair gets a little bit longer and if she can do kind of the fling of the hair and fall down. Like
the fling and the hair, everything. Combo. No, I get that. But so it's been happening more and more recently. So thinking about today's episode, it's got a very iconic moment of that. So I wanted to share that as my story for.
But what is your dad response?
My dad response was one.
Does it melt you? Does it?
Oh, it's sad.
Make you dig your heels in?
It sometimes it's very, very sad, and it makes me want to give in immediately. And sometimes I laugh because I know it's all of an act. I know it's just an act. She's just trying to get what she wants.
Just wait till they're teenagers.
Oh, yeah. No, and there's definitely some moments that we're going to talk about today where I'm like, is that what I'm going to do as a dad? when she wants to do something and I know that I don't trust them at all. Don't go into the light don't go into the zapper little bug. Please don't do that. I definitely had some of those feels. But let's not hold back any longer. Let's jump right in. Let's dive into
what is a groundbreaking movie, an innovative movie.
I think you've got some info for us, Eddie.
Era defining, innovative, unprecedented of Disney movies.
Great. Let's cue that transition music.
Disney's sound effect.
Engage. So yes, we were talking about The Little Mermaid, and if you are living under a rock or have been buried in the bottom of the sea forever, let me give you the synopsis, the IMDb synopsis. A mermaid princess makes a Faustian bargain in an attempt to become human and win a prince's love. Thank you, IMDb, for that.
So what is Faustian, first off?
Faustian bargain sounds like something out of Shakespeare.
So I had to look this up, and it literally means relating to or resembling Faust, a German astronomer. That's not worth it. Sorry, a German astronomer who gave his soul to the devil. There we go. Now that makes more sense, that last little part. When you sell of your soul.
So I'm looking here. We're literally just on Google right now. What did Faust sell his soul for? To the demon in return for worldly knowledge and pleasure. That's very generic. This sounds better. This is true love. Love at first sight. This is worth the Faustian, Fauci bargain or whatever it's called.
Right.
But anyways, moving on.
The Little Mermaid. We give all those accolades because The Little Mermaid is distinguished as the turning point in Disney animation, coming out of what was known as kind of their dark
The
age,
Dark
when they were
Age.
making animated films that were not so great. Um, then all of a sudden, Little Mermaid comes on the scene, and people say it's the return of the golden age of Disney animation,
Mm.
and it breaks all of these records. It wins multiple Academy Awards. It puts Disney back on the map.
It's very iconic. Like there's so every song in this thing, other than maybe the opening number, every song in this movie is a classic. Every single
And
one of them.
singable and sticks with you.
Every last song, there's so many moments in it, especially I mean the big one is obviously the moment where she's singing the end of Part of Your World and then the waves crash up and all around her. You've probably seen it on posters and everything like that. But my favorite is definitely once it does the reverse shot and then it's moving away and the water is completely still and there's not a
Yeah.
single wave anywhere. But for that
Again,
moment,
it's a Disney reprise. That moment right there, it's her singing it again. Love a good Disney reprise.
hmm
So I think it's important to bring up the music because this is the first big Disney musical by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman.
I
They'll
feel
go
like you've got
on.
some stories for us about Alan Menken and his
So,
crew.
well, there's two really great documentaries on Disney Plus that I think is worth a watch. The first one is called Waking Sleeping Beauty. If you've not watched that, it is
I'm
phenomenal.
writing it down right now.
We may need to just do a whole episode on that. It follows how Disney came out of their dark age of animation and into the Renaissance and
Do
all the
they
different
call it
people
the
at play.
Dark Age themselves? Like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, they knew
interesting.
it
Okay.
because they were making just failure after
Crap. They're
failure.
making crap.
Yeah.
You can say
Um,
crap on this. It's still PG. It's okay.
um, and so that's a really good documentary. The same team that did that just came out with a new one like 2 weeks ago on Disney Plus called Howard, which is about the lyricist Howard Ashman who wrote the lyrics, and really he ended up getting a producer credit on this movie because he had such a massive influence on the story and everything. One interesting tidbit: the head of the studio was trying to cut Part of Your World. After the first screening, he thought it was too boring of a movie and kids wouldn't sit through that song. And so he kept trying to cut it. And Howard Ashman just like fought for it. And now it's like the iconic song, not just of the movie, but it's like in the top 5 iconic Disney movies of all time.
My
And
wife
it was
just
almost cut. It was
we were
almost cut.
we were just watching it and she was like, "Why do I feel like I learned somewhere that they were gonna cut this song?" And we thought maybe we got it mixed up watching Frozen 2 Into the Unknown, the making of Frozen 2, just thinking, "Oh, we're just mixing it up." But no, you're telling us that that's actually what happened. Almost
Yeah, and
happened.
one of the selling points of keeping it in was Howard Ashman went to the head of the studio and said, they almost cut Somewhere Over the Rainbow out of Wizard of Oz. Aren't you glad they left that song in?"
Wow.
And like a part of the full arguments and everything, the guy was like, okay, we'll leave it. And in like the final screening before it went out to theaters, it just like exploded in numbers. All the focus groups like loved Part of Your World, and is the song that it is today.
I would love to know. I would love there to be like a list of all the songs that were almost cut. Because this is like second. You've now said Over the Rainbow. That's a third one. There's so
Yeah.
many songs that like you just don't know if it's gonna work or not. You just don't know.
Right. So this team, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, you may also recognize a few of the other movies that they did, like a little known movie called Beauty and the Beast
Mm.
and Aladdin. Unfortunately, Howard Ashman passed away, and so he wasn't able to continue to work. Who knows, what they could have produced together, but both are pretty prolific. So that I think that is a huge part of The Little Mermaid is the songs. And I mean, Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl. I mean, even Ursula's kind of villainous song It's just like one after another. As I was watching this again today, it was just like, wow, there's not a weak song in this
There's not a
movie.
dud. There's not a dud in
Right.
here.
Usually it's like, that's the song, and the others just kind of are there. This one, it's like the concert song at the beginning is the weak one, but it's kind of meant to be that way.
I found myself, because I haven't watched this in a really long time, the story part of it that I had forgotten about. I'd forgotten about that opening, not opening, but where Ariel first sees Prince Eric. I had forgotten about that whole interaction on the boat where you get a little bit more. I only remember Ariel's part in all the years as time has gone by.
Yeah.
I only remember Ariel's part and obviously the villain's part, Ursula's part, and all the other side characters. But I always forgot about Eric. Like, I literally couldn't remember a single line he had done in it. So what stood out to me in rewatching this, as we think about going back and watching it, is there's actually, I mean, he's not an amazing character. He's not like the most rounded thing you've ever seen. But I was grateful for the moments that Disney and the writers gave us to give him some sort of glimpse into him. So that first bit is when he receives the giant statue of himself, and he just like cringes, like he's not about the big life and stuff like that.
And even before then, like, I totally forgot how the movie opened. Like, I thought, in remembering back, I thought the movie opened with the concert scene with Triton and all the daughters and stuff. I forgot it actually starts on Prince Eric's boat.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that opening with him was really unique. Sometimes exposition at the top of a movie to get it going is just weird and clunky. And that just seems like so smooth and natural. And we follow the fish. I thought that was really funny. The guy's like telling the story and slapping him around with the fish or whatever, and the fish jumps overboard. And then that's what takes us down into Ariel's world. I'm like, this is really creative and fun storytelling.
It was, I forget which one it reminds me of. It reminds me a little bit of Frozen, where you're kind of hearing some of the story up on the hill and then you go down the hill to him. But the part that I really appreciated was that whole scene in the first storm. So not Ursula's storm, but that first storm, you see him jumping as a prince into the fray with his team, trying to save the ship, trying to save everybody. He literally pulls his right-hand man out of the water. And then he goes and he does the save the cat moment, but it's save the dog. He goes back to get Max, grabs Max and gets him out. And then he's tragically lost into the ocean for a moment. I think that at least gave him a little bit of sense of, this is a good dude that isn't too full of himself, and just gave you a little bit of humanity in him. Now he then goes on to be a completely oblivious human being the rest of the time, and I was actually pretty surprised at how much of the time he's basically treating Ariel up until the kissing, like the kiss song, Kiss the Girl song. He's basically like trying to get back to that elusive siren that saved him from the water. Oh, but this girl right here is fine, even though she looks identical to the other one that he saw. He's like,
well, the second time around, he was a little bit under a spell.
Well, I'm not talking even before. I'm talking about like just she shows up on land now with legs. And he's like completely, I just really want to get back to the voice.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're kind of cute and I'm going to help you. Okay, but the voice, let me get back to the voice. I'm like, bro, she was in your face 2 inches away from you and you can't remember that crazy dark, like bold hair. And the whole I'd forgotten, or I just never caught in the first pass when I was little, that like that back and forth of just like, I'm trying to get this girl, but I've also got this girl that's right here. But it was just so back and forth until the climactic, I'm gonna go for Ariel that's here, and he throws the flute into the water, and then he goes to go, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, she's here all along. And then he's under the spell. I was just like, bro, come on.
When else have we ever seen an epic flute toss. I can't think of any other epic flute tosses.
It's one for the ages.
It's just kind of funny where it's like, this is my defining moment. I'm gonna chuck a flute into the ocean.
It was special. I didn't. There were moments I appreciated his trying to be the hero, but at the same time, there was some so oblivious to like what was going on.
It is fun. Each character, I love the introduction of each character and the way that we're just kind of the way that they're brought in. Each character is very much an animated character. Like it's almost a caricature. It's not a well-rounded person or story, but they're just kind of fun. And the image of the character matches a little bit of that personality of the character. And I appreciate just kind of the diversity of the cast of characters there, you know. But I think what you're getting at with Eric is none of them are really deep. You know, there's really like, and probably the shallowest is Ariel. Like, it's just like, I think walking on ground is cool and I want to do that. Oh, and I saw this really cute guy and I'd like to be with him. You know, it's like, and part of your world, you know, it's a little teenage angsty a little bit, you know, and it is a good song, but like really when you're looking at characters, like, okay, this is kind of flat. Or I think you get into other like Belle and Beast, you know, okay, we start getting better at deepening those characters a bit, but this is very much like, okay, sure.
As a random aside, why is the conductor Prince Triton or King Triton's best friend and confidant? Why is Sebastian, who's just a conductor, that's all he does, that's all he is? That's just a story thing that was like, why is he, shouldn't like his like army, like the sergeant or something like that? No, it's the crab that plays the music and puts his daughters.
It shows you that they are a musical kingdom at their core. And right, it is fitting. Like the music is the heart of the movie. It is the core of what makes The Little Mermaid the movie. So sure, why not the conductor be the right-hand man and confidant? I think he gets my two favorite songs by far of Under the Sea and Kiss the Girl. Like those are just two wonderful. If you haven't gone back through and like read some of the lyrics, I think that was one of the things that struck me was hearing the lyrics of Under the Sea and just how, you know, masterful some of those are. I love but fish in the bowl is lucky. They in worse fate. One day when the boss get hungry, guess who's gonna be on the plate?
Was he doing a Jamaican style accent or what was that?
Yes, it is Jamaican.
Okay.
And you need to, again, this documentary is fantastic. It is Waking Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
And there's a whole discussion in the documentary about, again, Howard Ashman's like, he needs to be Jamaican. And they're all like, what? No, not Jamaican. And he's like, no, he needs to be Jamaican. It'll just work. And so they just did it because they just so like, random. And it's like, sure, it doesn't make sense, but it works. It makes them kind of fun and kind of creative.
So moving towards the parenting side of this conversation, what jumped out to you as a dad?
So Lewis loved this movie. Like he wouldn't stop moving and dancing and just like loving the movie.
Can picture him right now.
I forgot how much fun the chef scene was when the chef is trying to cook Sebastian. Yes. Like Buddy that is comic genius, just kind of that slapstick humor that is really funny.
The bird, the seagull, Scuttle was Buddy's favorite. When he first plays with the dingle hopper and poofs out his hair, he just cackled. He just cackles like, oh, dingle hopper. It was just like, he totally got it. He was totally into it. There were several other moments of but that's his favorite, is like just the stupid physical comedy. And so he was all about that. I think he was fine with the rest of it. He was kind of watching it. And what was actually funny was once it was over, he then turned to me and was like, shrink the kids? Shrink the Kids? He really just wanted to rewatch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids again. But he did love
Scuttle
those
is a
ones.
fun character. I forgot how hilarious, just as an adult, how funny his explanations of stuff are.
Oh, when he's describing the fork and the pipe.
Yes.
Haven't seen this
And
in
even
a
like towards
long
the end, there's
time.
a
This
couple.
is, and he comes up with some crazy name that is nothing.
It's hilarious. It's yeah, I absolutely love that. But
I definitely found myself almost screaming at the TV, "Don't go back for the dingle hopper," as like the shark is coming in. I'm like, and can we just talk about how much of a kleptomaniac Ariel is? Like everything, and then she's like holding on to the bust of Prince Eric in the bottom of this right before her
how
dad
did
comes
she
in.
get him the bust in there? I mean,
I don't know.
I know
I don't
weight
know.
is a little bit different underwater. I mean, I'm
We
not
need
a
a physicist. We need a physicist to hear.
but still, that's a lot for a teenage mermaid.
Mermaid. I don't know how strong mermaids are. I'm comparing them to 16-year-old girls that are in real life, and I don't think any of them are going to be moving
A
that thing.
giant stone statue. And furthermore, I think this was just kind of like my dad moment of going, hold on. How did Eric not see a giant stone statue sitting in the middle of a ship in the middle of the ocean? Like, that probably took a lot to get it on there
Yeah.
just so that they can show it to him. And guess what? Like, we're going to have to take it off the ship and put it back on land. Why didn't we just do this whole ceremony on land?
These are the things that they don't want us asking. They just want us to turn off our brain.
And these are things that you don't ask when you watch it as a kid, but when you watch it back again as a dad, and you're like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why are we bringing a giant stone statue in the middle of a wooden sailing vessel? All so that we can just like, oh, happy birthday, let's show it to you. And then I feel for the poor ship hands that are like, wait, I just dragged this giant heavy thing on here, and now you're just going to have me drag it off. And he didn't even like it. But luckily, a storm comes and it sinks to the bottom of the ocean, so they don't have to put it back on land.
Yeah, that's the only thing they were excited about, other than barely surviving for their lives.
So things that you see that you didn't notice as a kid. But so what is what's your fruit snack rating for The Little Mermaid? How many fruit snacks do you give it?
My fruit snack rating for this, it's hard because the music is so iconic and the story doesn't do a ton for me. Had many feelings during the fight with her and her dad, and when he destroys everything in her place, like so many emotions for that. But like overall, it just wasn't doing that much for me. And I don't remember. I remember watching it a lot as a kid, just because it was another Disney movie to turn on. But it's not like my go-to when I'm sitting there thinking, what's the Disney movie I really want to watch right now? So I'm gonna give it. I mean, it's hard to give it less than 3 stars just for the music alone. Like, it's hard to go below that because that would make it not a great movie. I like it more than I like Oliver and Company, but I'm gonna
Which
keep
we
it
gave
at 3.
Oliver 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. So I'm gonna give it 3 fruit snacks.
I've deliberated on this quite a lot.
Who did you deliberate with Sarah or just yourself?
Internally.
Internal deliberation.
And I think I would give it 3.5.
Okay, so you're gonna bite half of one.
I'm gonna bite half of one off, just eat it, and then give that half to the Little Mermaid. So 3.5. I think it is just masterful music, and I think a lot of people have dubbed this, Broadway coming to animation. And a lot of the actors, the voice actors who did the characters were Broadway. That's where Alan Menken and Howard Shore come from. I think they're Howard Ashman, sorry. And I just, the music to me is just, it carries the whole thing.
It does. What going back to a little bit to parenting stuff, one of our questions that we like to ask is, what if their parents weren't dead? Where's the mom? Who is the
We don't
mom?
have.
And
We
he's
don't
got
have
a
a
lot
mom.
of children. Do you think that he had one wife for all of these mermaids? Did he have multiples? I did notice that a lot of these sisters, they really took no time at all to create unique looking. They all look like
No,
the
it's
same
like let's
person,
change their hair color
and
and
they're
let's change the color of their seashell bra, and it'll be good.
that was the and then Ariel looks completely different than the rest of them.
Right. Just none of them can have red hair. That's only Ariel.
I think for 100% sure, if there's a mom in this situation, we're gonna get that quintessential scene of the dad and the daughter have the fight, and then the mom comes in to pick up the pieces and put her head on her shoulder. If we have that, we don't have Ursula. We don't have
Right.
the
Mom
rest
is
of it.
not dropping an ultimatum.
No.
Mom is not going in and blowing up her cave of thievery. We're getting heartfelt, it'll be okay, honey.
Dad just wants what's best, but he still loves you. All of those things that we would expect them from.
Right. But Prince Eric, so the old guy is grandpa or dad? Like, I got a little confused there.
I guess we never saw. I guess Prince Eric, we didn't see a dad from him either, did we? I think
Like,
he's the steward. Like he's been trusted to take care of him. Like
the steward of Gondor.
The steward of Gondor. No, he's like the president's right hand.
The chief of staff.
Chief of staff. You said it so perfectly. We need at least a couple West Wing episode references in here, but he is the chief of staff. Where he's I said steward, and that might be the old timey term for it. But he does. I think that's who he is, and his main task is just get Eric married. But I forgot that Eric doesn't show that he has any parents in this.
So this next question is interesting because it's actually happening. How would this movie be different in 2020? They're actively filming a remake.
Yes.
With Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, which I can't wait.
Stop.
And Daveed Diggs as Sebastian. Thomas Jefferson from Hamilton.
I need someplace to throw my money. I'm totally down for this. Oh man.
And it's Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall is the director.
Okay.
He's done a lot of musicals.
With certainty, you can save this clip and call me out on it whenever this movie comes out. If I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. 100% sure you can go ahead. They can already start from this as the script. In the end, Ariel will kill Ursula. Women's empowerment, all the things.
Not
like
Eric. Eric
will not be the one to kill Ursula. It will be Ariel. 100%. You can write that in stone. Write that in pen. It's happening. It's 2020. Well, that's the world we live in.
It is going to be, so there is new music being added to it.
Wait a minute, is this okay? They're gonna do like what they've done with the other ones and add here's one new song, like
one new song, maybe another one.
Hopefully it's better than the one from Aladdin. But
so it's Alan Menken coming back to write the music for it, and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I mean, I've still got more money to give you.
They make so much money off of these live action remakes. Like it is just stupid how much money.
Eddie, did you pay $30 for
I already
Mulan?
Paid for that. And the worst mistake that they made was, okay, you can pay $30 to watch Mulan right now, but you can watch it for free in December. It's like, I'm sorry, I've already been waiting, at least 6 months since March. I can wait another 4 months and get it for free. But you took Mushu out of it, all right? Don't take Mushu out of it and then try and take my money. But that's another time. We'll get to Mulan in the future.
I was excited to watch Mulan, and I just don't feel like paying $30. I'm sorry.
Pay extra money.
It's not.
The live action movies, they make a ton of money. So I think The Little Mermaid was the one that, as they started to do this, they were the most nervous about touching, because it is a sacred Disney movie. It is what turned the tide for them, no pun intended.
Gotcha. Are you saying Little Mermaid they've been scared about? making
Yeah,
live
yeah.
action. Oh, and it's
Yeah,
under
'cause
and it's an underwater feature, so that just complicates it even more. So I
but
feel it. I
it
feel it.
is it's not as like I think Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and Lion King are better, but it's they're just Little Mermaid's a little more beloved. It
There's something when we talk about
feels
going
more
from the dark
untouchable.
age to this. Oh, Oliver and Company was literally the year before, but it's
Mhm.
such a there's a this has star potential for the Little Mermaid with everything.
So interesting to tie in. Again, I'm talking a lot about Howard Ashman here. They brought him in to write somewhere in New York City for Oliver and Company,
Oh,
and were so impressed and enjoyed working with him. He somehow, like, hey, what else are you guys working on? And they said, hey, let's show you this other project. We're working on adapting the fairy tale, the Hans Christian Andersen tale, The Little Mermaid. And he just started like tossing out a lot of these
wow.
big ideas that we've talked about. And they're like, we need to hire you for this.
That's
So that's how
incredible.
he got in. The Little Mermaid that we have today is because they brought him in to write one song for Oliver and Company.
So thank you, Oliver and Company. I should have given
Mm-hmm.
you more fruit snacks
Yep.
because of
Yep. Just
that.
for that
We
little bit.
skipped over this, but would you let your daughter date Prince Eric?
Oh, heck no.
I wouldn't be storming him out of the house if he showed up. I'd be more like, I need to keep my eye on him. He did save that cat that one time. He
Dog.
he, he did the dog, whatever.
Which is better? If he saved the cat, I would have been like,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
He saved the dog, he saved the people. He has a good heart about him. He's just kind of oblivious and he needs to grow up a little bit. I think
Yeah.
I wouldn't be excited if he brought her home. I'd be like, I think you can do better, baby. I think you got better potential.
He does come with a kingdom.
He does come with a kingdom. Do
It's a pretty
you
good dowry.
it is nice, and he's got to be the one to pay. I don't have to pay that dowry.
So, what are some of the unintended
Oh,
morals that we face here?
I got some good ones. Okay, first
Lay it on
off,
us.
contracts are more powerful than magic.
Yes.
It came to me when I watched it, and I was just like, this is like that. The
All the
fact that
contract lawyers are like, yes, finally, we have
finally
validity.
all the tax guys are just like the IRS are feeling their power. This is their Disney movie for them. Also, walking is worth losing your family for.
Hmm.
You should always choose walking over your family. So
Yeah, that is kind of one of the sad morals of the story is like the willingness to just throw your family out the
throw
window
everybody
for.
away.
And I don't know if that gets reconciled enough for me at the end. It
No,
kind of
it doesn't.
does.
It doesn't.
I think one of the sweetest moments is, Triton taking on her punishment, if you
Yeah,
want to
I'll
say,
get I'll
for
give him
her.
that.
That's kind of a sweet kind of moral there, I guess, of fathers laying their life down for their daughters. It's sweet. So
So Eddie, any tips? Any dad tips after watching this?
dad tips. I think that was the big one of just kind of the don't let the momentary desires make you throw away something that is so important and treasured. That was,
Your
I mean,
family.
I know that's a little serious, but it did kind of stick with me where I'm like, oh, maybe somebody needed to pull her. It's like, come on, Flounder. Like, Flounder, what is your job here? Like, you're just swimming.
What's up with
Why
all
don't you
these movie
stop and
having
say, Ariel, really? You want to give up your whole family for
What's up
this?
with all these movies having bad caretakers? Just bad people who are supposed to be in charge of the children. That's my tip. That's
Yeah.
my tip for you. If someone's going to be in charge of your children, make sure that they're actually doing their job. Don't just
Yeah.
throw them. Just
Don't
don't
get
just throw
Flounder.
it to them out there. So that is The Little Mermaid. Two dudes talking about The Little Mermaid. Thank you for listening. Before you go, please go to our website, honeywemade.com. We have a listener question today for you to answer. You can even answer previous week's questions. But Eddie, what is a listener question we can add for them to fill out?
So for this week's listener question, I said that my favorite songs, it's kind of split there. Under the Sea, Kiss the Girl. I think I would lean more towards Under the Sea. That's my favorite song. We want to know, what is your favorite song from The Little Mermaid, since it is truly what makes this movie. So let us know, what is your favorite song from The Little Mermaid.
And thanks for listening. Please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us on all the Instagrams and Twitters and Facebooks and such out there, which is at Honey We Made. Next movie we are going to be tackling is
DuckTales.
Woo! So please subscribe so you can get told of when the next episode is going to be out. And we've got a couple of episodes that we've done before this. So sorry, but Eddie, you said you got to hit the road now. You got something happening.
I need to load the dishwasher.
I got to go pick up my daughter who's melting down in pieces on the floor in her Disney Princess mode. So I got to go do that. But